Hello everyone. So welcome to my video lecture. So in this video, we will discuss another set of multiple access protocols. So that is called as controlled access. In previous videos, we have discussed about random access methods and we have discussed so many different types of protocols under that. And now we will discuss another set of protocols which is used for multiple access, that is collectively we call it as controlled access. So in controlled access, whenever a device wants to send a station, it has to be authorized by another station. So that means, so here all the stations will be controlled by some other station. So that is why it is called as controlled access. The stations consult one another to find which station has the right to send the data or send the frame. So that is why in this case a station cannot send the frame unless until another station is authorized to send. So that is the main idea behind controlled access. So here we are going to discuss three protocols, so which are called as reservation, polling and token passing. So we will discuss one by one what is reservation, what is polling and what is token passing. So in this reservation method, whenever device wants to send the frame or data, it has to reserve one of the slot in the reservation frame. So that means, so here a separate reservation frame is maintained and the time is divided into different intervals. And whenever we look into this reservation frame, this frame will have number of different slots, that is mini slots, and each slot is given for each device. So that means, for example, if at all I have n devices in a network, then the reservation frame must have n number of slot. So in this example, I am considering there are 5 devices, and that is why the reservation frame contains the 5 different slots. So now whenever a device wants to send the frame, then that particular device has to reserve the slot in the given reservation frame. So in this case, initially only 3 devices wants to send the frame to the transmission medium. So that is why, so this is the slot given for station 1 and this is the station given for station 2, and this is a slot for station 3 and this is a slot for station 4 and this is a slot for station 5. So now initially only 3 devices wants to send the frame, clear. So sequentially the data will be transmitted. So since first slot is given for device 1, so now initially data will be transmitted from station 1. After this, station 2 did not reserve any slot here, so because it is set to 0. So that is why there is no data from station 2, but station 3 wants to send a frame. So that is why this slot is reserved. That is why there is a data from station 3, and accordingly station 4 also wants to send the data. That is why it has reserved the slot. So next station 4 will be transmitting the frame. So that is how whenever a device wants to send a frame, it has to make a reservation in the reservation frame. Always remember, reservation frame precedes all the data frames. In the next set of time interval, so here in this case again some more set of frames will be sent. In this case only device 1 wants to send a frame. That is why only device 1 reserved the frame or slot in the reservation frame. That is why the data is carried from station 1. So no other device is sending the data. In the next set, no devices has the data to send. That is why all the slots are not reserved, unreserved. So this is for the reservation protocol works. So there is a reservation station needs to make a reservation before sending the data. So unless until reservation is done, no station can transmit the data here. Okay. So next one is polling method. So this polling method mainly used whenever there is a network where there are two types of devices. One is primary device and next is secondary device. So remember, in a network there can be only one primary devices and there can be n number of secondary devices. So that means in the polling method there should be a single device which controls the entire accessing of links. So here the primary device will control the access of link for transferring the frame by other devices. So that is why we call it as primary device which controls the entire network, and these are secondary devices. So here I am considering there is one primary device and two secondary devices. A and B are the secondary devices. So always the the starting of data will be done by primary itself. Whether primary wants to send the data or secondary wants to send the data, always primary has to initiate the data transmission. So we will see how the data will be transmitted in the polling method. So now for example, if at all primary wants to send the data, so then it will use a select frame. So for example, here primary device wants to send the data to secondary device B. Now initially the primary device will send a frame called as select frame. So select frame will be sent from primary device to secondary device B, saying that there is some data from primary device to secondary B. That is why it has to be ready for receiving the data. So for that select frame, the secondary device B will send a acknowledgement. So acknowledgement will be sent from secondary to primary. So after that only actual data will be sent from primary to secondary. So for that again acknowledgement will be received. So this is how the primary will be sending the data. So for that select frame will be used. Now whenever there is a data from secondary to primary, then that particular method is called as polling. So here it is, in this case we use select, and whenever secondary wants to send the data, then we use polling method. So here again the data transmission has to be controlled by primary device. So that is why the primary device will ask every device whether they have the data to send to primary device. For that it will use the poll signal. So here initially primary device send a poll signal to device B, that is secondary B, whether it has some data to send. If at all there is no data, then it will send a negative acknowledgement to the primary, saying that there is no data from secondary A to primary. Again it will send a poll signal to B also. So if at all there is a data, then immediately the data will be sent from secondary B to primary device. And once the data is received from the by the primary, for that acknowledgement will be sent to secondary device B. So this is called as polling. So select method is used whenever primary device has data to send to secondary, and polling is used whenever there is a data from secondary device to primary. So this is how the access control happens in polling method. The last one is token passing. So in token passing, we will be using this particular access method whenever there is a ring type structure or ring type topology. So we already know what is ring topology. So in ring topology there will be a number of devices which is connected in successor and predecessor manner. So every device will be connected to its adjacent device. So if I take, this is one station, second station, third station and fourth station. So now for this device, this is the successor and this is the predecessor. So always data will be moving in one direction. So whenever we have this type of network, then we can make use of token passing. So here whenever device wants to send the data, that is device 1 wants to send the data, so initially it will acquire the access, then after completing data transmission it will give the access to second station. Again this will transfer data and after that it will give the access to next station device 3. So this is how it will uh, transferring the access control to the next station after completing their data transmission. So now how actually this is done? So for giving the access, we will be using a token. So whenever a device has the token, so then that particular device can only transfer the data to the link. So that is why here a token frame is used. So whichever device has the token frame, so that particular device can transfer the data to the link. So since this token has to be maintained in the entire network, so there should be some task need to be done where we need to manage the token. So which device will have the token at which particular period of time and how much period of time a device can hold that token and how the token has to be passed to next station. So all those things will be managed by that token management process. And here again, whenever a priority need to be set, again that also can be done through this token management. That means, so whenever consider this device 2 has the highest priority. Now if at all token is with the device 1 and which is less priority than device 2, now whenever device with higher priority has the frame to send, now token has to be passed to the higher device from lower device. So this also will be managed by token management process. The ring can be in any fashion. That means, so consider, so here we have a physical ring. That means the devices are connected physically through in a link ring type structure. So there is no problem in this. Okay. That means whenever token is in this device, so after completing data transmission, so token will be sent to the next device. So like that it continues. Again there will be a dual ring. So that means, for example, consider at a given time device 1 has the token to uh, transfer the data. So for example, if at all this link failed, if at all this link is failed, then one cannot transfer the token to the device 2. So that is why now it will use another ring, that is which will be used whenever one particular link, ring is failed. So that is why that is the use of dual ring. So this secondary ring will be used only whenever the first ring is failed. So next, how we will be generating a ring in bus topology. So here we have a bus topology, so where all the 4 devices are physically connected to a single cable. Now here logical ring will be created between these 4 devices. So physically it is a bus topology, but logically it will be we will be creating a ring between the devices. Again in star topology, so by using the hub, internally inside the hub we will be creating a ring type topology. So that is how we can use this token ring in any of the physical topologies, either it is physical ring or bus or star. So that is all about token passing. Okay, so that is uh, controlled access. So next is channelization. So in the channelization, the given link is divided between the devices based upon the frequency or time or code. So that is called as channelization. So in channelization we have three important protocols. So one is called as frequency division multiplexers, where we divide the entire link based upon the frequency. Next we have TDMA, time division multiplexers, where we divide the entire link in terms of time. And the last one is code division multiplexers, which is different from frequency and time division multiplexers. So we'll discuss one by one in detail. So in module 1, whenever we discuss physical layer, so we have discussed about FDM. So where we are dividing the channel, entire channel into different entire link is divided into different channel based upon the frequency. The same idea is used here in FDMA. So frequency division multiple access, the entire link whatever we have, so it will be divided in terms of different frequencies. For example, if the entire link is connected with 4 devices, device 1, device 2, 3 and 4, then the entire channel is divided into 4 set, that is 4 channels based upon the different frequency. So one channel is given to device 1, second channel is given to device 2, third channel is given to device 3 and fourth channel is given to device 4. So they have to send in their respective frequencies. So every device will work in different frequencies and they will use their own channel, and every channel is divided separated with the guard bands. So as we have seen in the frequency division multiplexing. So the main difference between FDM and FDMA is, so FDM is multiplexing technique which is used in physical layer, and FDMA is the multiple access protocol which is used in data link layer. That is the main difference between FDM and FDMA. The next one is TDMA, so which stands for time division multiplexers. So that is similar to TDM, time division multiplexing. So here the entire channel divided into different intervals, time intervals and time slot. So every slot is given to each slot is given to each station. So if at all we have 4 stations, then the entire link is divided into 4 slots. So each slot is given to each device. So that will be repeated in the next set of data. So again, the difference between time division multiplexers and TDM is, TDM is the multiplexing process which is implemented in physical layer, and TDMA is the multiple access protocol which is implemented in data link layer. That is the main difference. And if at all we look into FDM, normally this is implemented in cellular systems. So whenever we had 1G, so actually FDMA is used in 1G cellular system, and whenever we had used analog signal, so actually in 1G we have used analog signal, mainly we use analog signal, that is why we use FDMA, and later it went to digital signal, so where we used TDMA for digital signal. So this is how we are using TDMA in cellular system. So we have two devices, two telephone cellular system. So where they will be sending the signal. So each signal, the entire station, the link is divided into time slot. So in this case, data from this station will be transmitted. In this case, data from this station will be transmitted. Like that it goes. So that is how the channel will carrying the data from both the devices, and it will deliver to the particular devices. Okay. So next one is CDMA, so which stands for code division multiple access. So this is entirely different from TDMA and FDMA. So here the main analogy is that, for example, if at all in a room there are 4 people, and 4 people can talk each other simultaneously. That means, so for example, 2 persons they know only English, and other 2 persons they know only Chinese. Now in these cases all the 4 people can talk to another person which know their language simultaneously. So there is no problem in that. So that is, if at all a person know the code what the other person is talking, then the language, then he can clearly understand what is the other person is talking. So that is the main analogy here. That means every device is given with a code. So each channel is separated by a code and all the devices can simultaneously transfer the data. So that is the main agenda behind code division multiplexes. So actually this CDMA came into existence whenever there was 2G or after 2.5G, that is 3G. And nowadays we have WCDMA also. So we'll see how actually this CDMA works. So as I told, every device will be given with a code. So consider there are 4 devices. So device 1 is indicated by D1, device 2 is indicated with D2, and device 3 is indicated with D3, and device 4 is indicated with D4. So every device will be given with a different code. So consider the code given for this device is C1 and code given with for station 2 is C2 and code given for this station 3 is C3 and code given for station 4 is C4. So these are the different codes given for each device. Now whenever device wants to send the frame or data to the link, it will multiply the data with the given code. So that means whenever this device wants to send the frame or data, so initially it has to multiply the data with given code. So that is why here the data actually transmitted to the link is d1.c1 and in this case d2.c2 and in this case d3.c3 and whenever device 4 wants to send the frame data, then it will be d4.c4. And if at all the devices simultaneously transmit the data, so this will be the content in the link. So that is nothing but d1.c1 plus d2.c2 plus d3.c3 plus d4.c4. Now for example, device 2 wants to hear the data from device 1. So in that case, device 2 will be multiplying the content of this link, entire link, with the code of the device 1. So what I am saying is, whenever device 2 wants to hear the data which is sent from device 1, then device 2 will multiply the content of entire link with the code of device 1. So here we will be using a special multiplication. So that means whenever we multiply two same code, then we will be getting a number which is equal to n. So where n is the number of devices in a network. So in this case, whenever we multiply two same code, then we will get 4 because there are total 4 devices. And whenever we multiply two different code, then we will get 0. So this is a special multiplication we use here. See, we'll see what happens. So now device 2 wants to hear the data from device 1. So that is why the entire link content will be multiplied with C1. So now in this case what happens? So this will become C1 dot D1 dot C1 plus C1 dot D2 dot C2 plus C1 dot D3 dot C3 plus C1 dot D4 dot C4. So except this one, all will be 0. Why? Because here I will be having C1 dot, again C1 dot D3 dot C3, again C1 dot D4 dot C4. So here we are multiplying C1 with C2, so which will become 0. So this will be entire will become 0, this also will be 0, and this also will be 0. But this will be the result of this C1 dot D1 dot C1 will be 4 dot D1. So this is what received from whatever the device 2 will receive. Now after receiving this much, the device 2 will divide the entire data whatever it has received by 4, that is by n. So now after receiving 4D1 C1 dot 4D1, now device 2 will divide this entire data from 4, that is n. So this will be get cancelled and remaining thing is D1, that is nothing but data which is sent from device 1. So D1, D2, D3, D4 are the data, C1, C2, C3 and C4 are the codes. So this is the main idea behind code division multiple access. The actual code given to each device is called as chip sequences. So for example, this is the actual code given for C1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and for C2 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, for C3 plus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1, and for C4 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1. So if you see, all the 4 codes are different codes. Okay, so now we will see some of the properties of these uh, operations between the codes. So chip sequences are orthogonal vectors, that means inner product of any pair must be 0. So next is, with n station, sequences must have the following properties. So each sequence is made of n elements. For example, if there are 4 number of devices in a network, then a code will have 4 elements. So every code is having 4 elements. So that is one property. Second property, if you multiply a sequence by a number, every element in the sequence is multiplied by that element. So this is called multiplication of a sequence by a scalar. For example, so consider this is a number and this is a code, then we will be multiplying this number with every element. So then we will get plus 2 plus 2 minus 2 minus 2. That is second property. Third property, if we multiply two equal sequences element by element and add the result, we will get n number. So where n is the number of element in each sequence. This is called inner product. So we will see how it is done. So for example, we have one code as plus 1 plus 1 minus minus 1 and another code as plus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1. That means we are multiplying with same sequence, that is same code. So here whenever we multiply, we have to multiply element by element. First element of this multiply with first element of second one. So plus 1 plus 1. So plus 1 into plus 1 is plus 1. Plus 1 again plus 1 is plus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 is again plus 1. Minus 1 minus 1 plus 1. So then we'll add this, we'll get 4. So that is nothing but number of devices or number of element in a code. So whenever we multiply to same code, then we will get total number of devices. If we multiply two different sequences element by element, if we multiply two different sequences element by element and whenever we add them, then we will get 0. So this is called as inner product of two different sequences. So we'll see what happens whenever we multiply two different codes. So here we have one code and another code which is different from each other. So plus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 and plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So here we have to multiply element by element. First element of this multiplied with first element of second code. So plus 1 into plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 into plus 1 again plus 1 minus 1 into plus 1 minus 1 and minus 1 into plus 1 minus 1. So whenever we add we get 0. So that's what I told in the beginning. So whenever we multiply two different code then we will get 0. Whenever we multiply two same code then we will get total number of devices. Adding two sequence means adding the corresponding element. The result is another sequence. For example, here whenever we add, not multiplying, whenever we add two sequences, so that is plus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 and plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, then we add element by element. So plus 1 with this plus 1 we get plus 2, plus 1 and plus 1 adding we get again plus 2, minus 1 plus 1 0 and minus 1 plus 1 0. So this is another sequence. So here we are adding, not multiplying. Okay. So next is bit representation. So there can be any three possibilities. Either the device is sending the 0 bit or device may sending a 1 bit, that is 1 binary 1, or there is no data. So these are the three possibilities from a device. So a bit 0 is represented as minus 1, a bit 1 binary 1 is represented as plus 1, and whenever there is no data, that is silence, is represented as 0. So this is how we are representing a bit. So if a bit is 0, binary 0, then we are representing with minus 1. Whenever bit is 1, binary 1, then it is plus 1, and whenever there is no data, that is silence, then it is 0. Okay, so we'll see it an actual example how actually we are transferring the data. So consider there are 4 devices. So device 1, device 2, device 3, device 4 or station 1, station 2, station 3 and 4. The device 1, the data whatever it is sending is bit 0, that is binary 0. So whenever it is binary 0, then bit representation is minus 1. So that's what we have discussed in the earlier slide. Again device 2 is sending a bit 0, that is again minus 1, and there is no data from device 3, that is why bit representation is 0, and device 4 is sending bit 1, that is binary 1, that is why representation is plus 1. So these are the data from each device, and every device need to be given with code. So the code given for this is the chip sequence plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and code given for the station 2 is plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, and for station 3 is plus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1, and for station 4 is plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1. So all 4 are different. So as I told, whenever a device wants to send a frame, it has to multiply the data with code. So here C1 is this one and D1 is nothing but minus 1. Remember this. So now we have to multiply this minus 1 with each element of C1. So that is why we get minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. So that is why all will be minus 1. Okay. So next, whenever device 2 wants to send a frame or data, it has to multiply this bit representation code with this code of the device. So minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, minus 1 minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, and minus 1 minus 1 plus 1. So like that So here since there is no data, so all will be 0. So that means 0, whatever multiply with anything is 0. So next is 4. So here bit whatever device 4 wants to send is 1, that is why this bit representation is +1. Now I need to multiply with this code. So +1 +1 +1 +1 -1 -1 +1 -1 -1 +1 +1 +1. So now this is the actual data which is sent from every device. So now whenever all the device is sending the data simultaneously, then we need to add all this code. So this is nothing but a different code. Okay. So now we have to add all the 4. So what is that? So we have to add element by element. So first one is -1 -1 becomes -2, then +1 -1 plus 0. So that is why first element is -1. Next, second element of each code. So -1 +1 cancels each other, 0 and -1, that is why -1, second element. So we have to add all the 4 things element by element. So next, third thing, -1 -1 -2, then -1 -3, it becomes -3 and +0, so remains -3. Next, fourth element, -1 +1 cancels each other, +1 +0 +1. So now this is the data in the link. Now how the data which is sent from any of the device is received by any of the other device. So for example, I will take same device. So device 2 wants to hear the data from device 0. So for that, what it has to do, device 2 need to multiply this entire content of the link with the code of device 1. So that is why I will multiply this entire content with this code. So what is the code? +1 +1 +1 and +1. Okay. So now we have to multiply this with this. So element by element again. So +1 -1 -1 +1 -1 -1 +1 -3 -3 and +1 +1 +1. So now we have to add all these 4. So -1 +1 cancels, -3 -1 is -4. So this is what will be received, but whenever before it receives, what this device has to do, it has to divide by number of devices. So whenever we divide by number of devices, so then it gets -1. So -1 whenever we convert into data, that is nothing but 0. So that is what which is sent from device 1 to device 2. So this is how the data will be transmitted and exchanged in code division multiple access. So CDMA encoding, so how actually it will be encoded. So station 4 station, so same example I am taking. So station 1 sending 0, that is encoded as -1, again -1, it is silent, that is why it is 0. It is sending bit 1, that is why encoded as +1. So these are the code for each station. So whenever it has to send the data, so it has to multiply with this code and with this data element. So that this is the result of the multiplying, again multiply this code with this, and this is the result, and this is the result, and this is the result from device 4. All the 4 things will be added, and this is what will be transmitted or content of the link. So this is at the sender side while sending. So signal created by CDMA. So we'll see how the signals are created. So based upon the energy voltage levels. See, all the code are -1, that is why the voltage level is at the negative side, and here it is -1 +1 -1 +1. So that is why initially it is -1 negative voltage, positive voltage, negative voltage, positive voltage, and here there is no data, that is why there is no signal. And in this case +1 -1 -1 +1. So here +1 -1 -1 +1. So positive, negative, negative, positive. And if we consider the signal in the link, so this is -1, -1, -3 and +1. So this is the code in the link, and whenever we convert into signal, so this will be the signal. So -1, -1, and this is in the -3 voltage level, and this is +1 voltage level. So this is whenever receiving. So CDMA decoding. So whenever a device wants to decode the data from channel, so then it has to multiply the content of the channel with its code. So two things will be multiplied, and then it will be added. So whatever result we get, that will be divided by number of devices 4. Then we will get -1, and that will be represented with 0. So like that all the device will multiply the content of the link with their own device for getting the data. Okay. Now how actually we generate the chip or sequence of code? So for that we use a procedure called as wash table. So in this table, so we will be using number of sequences is always a power of 2. Okay, so we will be generating the power of 2 number of sequences, that means either 2 or 4 or 8, like that. So whenever we have this is the basic rule whatever we use in wash table. So if at all whenever for the initial, so we have W1, then we have only one sequence, that is +1. For getting second table, then we write Wn, Wn, Wn and Wn bar, that is the inverse. So for example here in this case, so W1 is +1. If at all we want to have W2, then Wn, 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 Wn bar. So here Wn is nothing but +1. So that is why +1, +1 and again +1. So here +1 bar, which becomes -1. The inverse, +1 becomes -1 or -1 becomes +1. So in this case it is -1. And if at all we want to generate W4, so we use W2. So for W2 we have used W1, that is wash table of 1, and for W4 we use wash table of W2. So that means, so this is entire Wn, that is W2 if you look into this, and again W2, W2 and W2 bar. So whenever we have W2 bar, so +1 becomes -1, +1 again becomes -1, +1 becomes again -1, and -1 becomes +1. So now if you look into this, so this becomes one code, this becomes another code, this becomes third code, and this becomes fourth code. So this is what given for channel 1 that is device 1, this is for given for device 2, this is given for device 3, and this is given for device 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And whenever we have two station, then we can use this code. So one code is +1+1, another code is +1 -1. And next we can also generate W8. So you can try this. So one WN is nothing but entire this. So that means in W8, one chip sequence will have 8 elements. So that's what they told, it's a power of 2. So that is why for generating a chip sequence we use VAS table. So there are 80 stations in CDMA network. What is the length of the sequences generated by VAS table? So this is a homework, just try it. Okay. So I'll stop here. So we'll discuss this IPv4 addresses in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.